Today, I am out here riding this 2024 KTM 1290 Super Adventure S. I'm going to be taking it on its first ride today, and you guys stick around while I stop at this red light, and at the end of the video, I'll let you know if it's a purchase or a pass. I'm Chaseontwowheels. Welcome to First Ride. Trying to match the size of the bike. Had to get it in sport mode, sorry. This bike sounds like an aggressive pit bull. Just a quick punch. You know, it's not a quick punch. How awesome my cardo is, so I can listen to my music, I can talk with my buddies. I got a discount code for you in the link in the description and on the screen. The timer is going off for the sound check to be done. Alrighty guys, that's what it looks like, and that's what it sounds like. Now, before we get on this thing, we get to thank our sponsor for this episode, and that is our buddies over at Quadlock, who make the absolute best motorcycle phone mount on the market. So, for the 1290 Super Adventure here, we've got the bar clamp on the handlebars here. Going into the pivoting arm, I've got this short little maneuverable head that I absolutely love. I'm putting it on everything I'm using these days, and that way I can move the phone around wherever I want. You just tighten it with that little screw. That goes into the vibration damper. That's going to help keep your phone camera safe. And then of course the locking part of the quad lock that matches with my quad lock phone case, and boom, just like that, I got my phone mounted on my bike. If you guys want a discount on quad locks, we got a link for you in the description down below. I would not trust my phone with anything on a motorcycle other than a quad lock, and I can wholeheartedly recommend those guys to you guys because it's all I use. So if you guys want to grab one, got a little discount for you. Thank you, Quad Lock, for sponsoring this first ride. Let's get on this thing. I didn't really need the big gloves today because, as you guys can see, it's a beautiful 51 out, but during the camera car run that we did yesterday, I was wearing these same gloves, so I value consistency. Alrighty, get the kickstand up, get the bike turned on. So guys, I'm 5'10", got 32-inch inseam, and as you guys can see, the pegs are a little in my way, but I can just flat foot the bike. Even though when I was looking at the bike on the showroom floor, I noticed that it looked like it had a really low seat height, and it's, I mean, for a big adventure bike like this, having slightly bent legs, that's pretty impressive. I'm kind of here for it. So before we get going, we do have modes, and we will talk about those before we get going. We got this beautiful KTM screen. Ride modes, we got sport, rain, off-road, and street. So you guys know the deal. We will be starting in rain mode. We will progress to street mode, and we'll get into sport mode right before the highway. So let me get it in rain mode. We also have ABS. We have dual ABS or off-road version, which is ABS on the front only. And then we have traction control. We're going to keep that on, obviously. Back button, back button. We are in rain mode now. Cool. Alrighty, guys. So I have also customized this button to change the ride mode. So that makes it easy. I appreciate KTM giving us special customizable buttons. And with all that said, guys, let's get on this thing and let's take it for its inaugural first ride. Mountain Motorsports was nice enough to give us a motorcycle with 0 miles, so we have put 23 on them so far. We do appreciate them doing that. What we also appreciate is you guys joining our email list. If you guys are big fans of the channel and want to keep up with everything we're doing, best way to do that is to join our email list. Links in the description down below. We'd love to have you there. We only send you one email a week. Dude, we're going in this tight lane. I'm not waiting on all that traffic. Hell nah, fam. I don't love it, but I think it's hilarious when rain mode is that fast. I mean, it is what it is. It's a big old bike. It's got a lot of power, and this bike has got a lot of competition. You're talking about BMW's Behemoth, which is the 1250 GS or the 1300 GS these days. You're talking about the Ducati Multistrada. You're talking about the Harley's Pan Am. You're talking about some behemoth motorcycles. So this thing has really got to bring something to the market. Alrighty guys, that's the first try. Let's talk about my body position on the Super Adventure S here. It looks like, when you're just looking at the bike, the seat looks kind of small. But when I'm sitting here on the motorcycle, the seat is literally the perfect size, or at least for my butt. And one of the things I'm really liking about the seat is the seat kind of angles down on the side, and that's allowing my legs to get like a good hold, like the transition from my butt to my legs. I really like the seat dimensions, I guess. As far as my feet and legs and body position go, my legs are only slightly back, but they're very comfortable. My knees not bent too much. And then my upper half is pretty upright, and with the handlebars in the position they are, I can't really go any farther forward without like really changing my body position up. But overall, I feel super comfortable, which is kind of perfect for a motorcycle that, you know, it's a big touring bike. You're supposed to be able to destroy miles on this thing, and the body position is certainly going to allow you to do that. All right, we are in rain mode, and now we will transition by hitting that little quick button into street mode. All the modes are going to be changing all of the aspects of the motorcycle, the engine power, the suspension, which is semi-active. We love that. And, you know, the ABS, charge control, all that kind of stuff is going to be changed by the modes. We are going to get out of that now. These cars are going to realize they need to get over, and then we will let them in. So while we're kind of puttering through this stupid traffic that we always have on this first ride route, let's talk about what's powering the Super Adventure, because KTM might be the only brand that under promises and over delivers on the numbers. So this is a 1290 Super Adventure S, but it's actually being powered by a 1301cc V-twin. So KTM's like, look, it's a giant engine. We don't care if it's more cc. We're sticking with 1290. I think that's hilarious. Oh, we gonna... Jesus Christ! That power from that V-twin is coming in numbers-wise at around 157 horsepower, and then I want to say 111 foot-pounds of torque, something monstrosity power-wise. The bike is extraordinarily powerful, and coming in at a weight of around 500 pounds, it's a lot of weight, but it has got a lot of power to push that weight around. And just going into street mode, I mean, rain mode alone was already pretty powerful. Street mode is literally hilarious. Like, I'm a little worried for sport mode, and this bike's not even broken in yet. We are at 25 miles on the odometer, so oh my goodness gracious. So let's transition into city performance on this bike. And with the wide handlebars here, man, I get surprised every single time I ride one of these big adventure bikes or big touring bikes. They have these bikes balanced so well, and the KTM Super Adventure S is no different. You're on a bike that weighs 500 pounds, yet moving it around takes no energy, or at least the side-to-side move. I mean, it's still a big bike. If you're going through traffic, you're still going to have to be cautious, you know, if you're lane splitting or something, if you're in an area that allows that. But just the simplicity of moving this bike around, KTM have found such a good balance, and that is very helpful when doing street riding. You got a lot of, you know, things popping up on the street. You got people going into you, got potholes you got to avoid, and lane changes on a big bike can sometimes be hard, but as you guys can see, this bike just featherweights back and forth. So KTM, absolutely phenomenal job on getting a big, heavy, powerful motorcycle balanced perfectly to where it's a dream street riding. I'm starting to think that the V-twin style engine might be my favorite style engine for city riding, just because it's an environment. Oh my God, what? Bro, what is happening with traffic? This is the shit I'm talking about, guys. When you're riding around in traffic, this is the kind of shit that happens. You come up to random where people are like,
cool, I'm just gonna park in the road.
Oh, and then you got the power to get out. You got way more power than that. What the This has so much power. Street mode is so much more powerful than it needs to be for the street. What the hell is sport mode about to feel like? I'm terrified. I like how I was talking about V-twins being my favorite, and then I just got ultimately distracted. This thing is so powerful for being 500 pounds. Makes no sense. And we're going. Oh, I'm scared to give it too much. Did you guys see the wheel come up? We're in street mode. Let me just remind everybody, we are not in the top power mode. This makes no sense. I will say, as I'm sitting here at red lights and I'm stopping in traffic, I am realizing that the seat tapers in a good amount. And as long as I don't have both feet up on the pegs, if I've just got one leg down, the seat height does seem pretty low, which is a good thing. It's manageable, and even with a heavy weight, I can still easily manage the bike when it leans over. So I really like that. As you guys can see, we do have the suspension set in comfort mode right now. You can actually, you know what? It's we're not going, so we can change that. The settings, super nice. So with the suspension mode, you have comfort, you have sport, and you have street. We're gonna try street mode and see what that feels like. And then obviously we'll get street here for the mode, and then street there. We'll talk more about the screen. I always want to randomly talk about stuff. I guys try to stay organized. All right, so we'll see what street mode feels like. Right now, this bike has felt fantastic in comfort mode, so I'm interested to see what street mode brings to the table. Want to see if that changes anything about how easily this thing wants to wheelie, and we'll go from there. Nobody gonna kill us, nobody gonna kill us. Sweet. Bro, this V-twin, when you hit power in second gear, it wants to wheelie so bad, and that's not even trying hard, so you guys just be careful. You know, when I got up to the speed, I can now kind of tell it takes a little bit of energy to get her over and get her moving. At low speeds, the bike does a phenomenal job of weaving around, but it gets more stable at speed, which means, ooh, I thought those wiggled for a second. At speed, it gets a lot more stable, which is nice, but you lose a little bit of that playfulness that you have at lower speeds. Second gear is an absolute beast of a gear. Traction control's entire job is in second gear. That's hilarious. I feel like it would take me an entire day of riding this motorcycle to really diagnose the difference in comfort and street and sport mode for the suspension. For the highway, I'm gonna put it in sport just to start with, and that way, once I get my 40 to 80 pull done, I'll then go back to comfort and we can see what cruising feels like on this thing. All right, we're in sport mode on the suspension now. You know what? We're coming over to the highway. It's for the street and for around town. This thing's been fantastic. I have been absolutely surprised. But, I mean, let's be honest. How many of you guys really want to know how fast this thing can go? I'm one of those people. Closed throttle, closed it, back. Okay. All right, she's as fast as she'll be, boys. Have you guys ever asked yourselves, I wonder how fast a 2024 KTM Super Adventure S will go from 40 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour? Well, good, because I'm answering that today. Sorry, big truck, I am gonna block you just a bit. We are gonna have to use that escape lane. All right, guys, get ready for it. On your mark, get set, go. Wheeling all the way through second gear. Holy mother of God. What in heaven's name was the time on that? I am going into comfort mode on the suspension immediately. I have never had a bike wheelie through an entire gear. Could you guys see that? The bike was literally wheeling all the way through the second gear, and then at the top of third we touched 80. Woo! Or the bottom of third we touched 80. Woo! That was awesome. Okay, so we're on the highway now. We're on the proving ground. Let's do try cruise control. Cruise control is not clicking. Interesting, the cruise control button's not working. Maybe that's a thing that gets locked early on. That sucks. One of the things that this bike should be able to do is adaptive cruise. It has the radar up front, And I'm really sad I'm not able to test that for you guys, because the cruise control button's just not activating right now. I wonder if it's because I'm in sport mode on the power. Let's change that to street. Back, close throttle, boom, boom. All right, let's see if... Bro, it literally doesn't work. It must be in its transport phase and it can't test that. Well, that really sucks. Radar cruise control, super cool tech to have on a motorcycle that you're supposed to be taking off-road or on the highway for a while. We have the windscreen all the way up. So right now with the windscreen all the way up, I'm not getting wind until the very tip top of my helmet. And right now, very minimal vibrations. I am super comfortable. No doubt that you could tour on this bike for a long time. It is a little windier today, and when the wind blows to the side, the bike really doesn't move that much. It tracks pretty well, but I do feel a lot of wind on my shoulder area. So if you're riding through some pretty adverse conditions, you might notice that, but overall, this is fantastic, and it would literally only be made better with that cruise control button. So that's super interesting that that's not working. I'm trying to hold it, trying to do all the regular weird motorcycle things, but you know, it is what it is. If it's not working, we can't test it. But overall, fantastic for highway usage, as it should be. Nobody's going to really be surprised by that. What are these little toggles here? Oh, that would be for the cruise control if I could set it. Yeah, sad. Little toggles down here to up and down your speed. Could have been a cool thing. Anyway, highway stuff, absolutely as good as it should be. What I'm really impressed with, honestly, is how smooth the bike is. It's not vibrating a lot. I did expect it to vibrate quite a bit here on the highway, and we're not really getting that. The mirrors are vibrating a little bit. Kind of hard to see the cars behind me. Oh, another thing, the gas tank on this thing is, bro, it's got a 6.1 gallon gas tank. I started with half a tank, and it was telling me I had 120 miles to E, and that's me riding like an idiot on this thing. I mean, what is that, over 250 miles on a tank? That would be nuts. Absolutely insane. We're on our big turn here, ruined by cars going the speed limit. How dare they? But super comfortable. Bike just gets over and feels great, which is kind of what I would expect out of a KTM bike. You know, KTM, they have a lot of expectations, I think, about performance, and regardless if they're making a touring bike or not, people are going to expect some really nice performance. You're definitely getting that. I mean, you got the semi-active suspension. I don't think anybody's going to be wanting for more. God, so maneuverable. Holy shit, man. So yeah, guys, I think it goes without saying, power-wise, this V-twin is money. You guys have seen what sport mode is capable of, especially with that second gear. You are not going to be wanting for power really anywhere. And it's also that V-twin power, so you get a lot of power right from the get-go. Even with all that power, though, I do feel like they have controlled it really well with the throttle. I haven't felt like out of control at any point throughout today's ride. So that's pretty impressive when you're dealing with almost 160 horsepower. You know, you could get in trouble with that. So really good job with KTM adjusting that throttle to fit. So far, the suspension's felt great. It's semi-active, so it's going to be able to adjust for you, and you're going to have to change it in the modes and stuff. It's really going to be hard for me to judge that on this ride for you guys. So far, I've loved it, and we'll stick there. So let's talk about the transmission now. Really like the transmission, haven't had any issues. I love that the bike has the power in sport mode to wheelie all the way through second gear. I think that's hilarious. And then when I got the bike in 6th gear on the highway, I just felt like the bike was on cruise mode, super comfortable, no issues with that in comfort mode. One of the nice things about semi-active suspension, you get on the highway, you put it in comfort mode, you're comfortable the whole time. Then you get to the mountains or wherever the hell you're riding to, put it in sport mode, stiffen it up a little bit, and that's all you have to do. No pulling off and changing settings. So that's been really nice so far. Love that. One of the things I will note is that when I'm shifting up through gears, I am noticing how light the shifter is. And on a big bike like this, I just want a little more feeling out of my shift peg. Like, I don't even know if I shift. I find myself having to look at my gear indicator to see if I actually shifted, because there's just not a lot of feedback down there. So that doesn't really feel like it fits with the bike. I would like to see that a little different. You know, I want to have some resistance and a click into that gear. I'm also surprised that it doesn't have a quick shifter. Like, it should, right? I just realized the ABS is in off-road mode. That's hilarious. Let's change that before I before I get in an accident. But yeah, those are the main things I'm noticing. This bike really feels like a touring bike that's made to race, if that makes sense, which is kind of a weird combo. You would think a touring bike is supposed to be comfortable and you should be able to ride it for a while with no problems. But this bike is like, no, I'm a touring bike. And then it's like got a touring bike dress on, but it's a race bike underneath. That's the vibe I'm getting on this bike. Does it have a heel hold? Let's find out. Put it in first. Hold the front brake in. No? Huh. Okay. For $20,000, I feel like it should, but okay. We'll move on. Did I hit on everything? Oh, I didn't hit on the brakes. I mean, have we even used the brakes a lot? Oh, yeah, we did. Brakes are solid. They feel a decent amount of bite right when you lay on the brakes. Very controllable, though. I like that a lot. You feel like a good amount of stopping power, but it comes on really smooth, so good there. Let's talk about the controls up here while we're going along. We got a lot of stuff going on, and if you're new to KTM, you may look at this and get a little overwhelmed because you're like, holy shit, so much going on, but I really feel like KTM's done a good job of laying everything out. So we've got a D-pad here and a button in the middle that you can press to navigate the menu for that giant screen that we'll talk about in a second. We then have a back button here. We have our cruise control button that for some reason is not working. I'm assuming that's transport lock. And then underneath it, we have our indicators, of course. Under that, a horn. And then on the side here, there is a button. You can't see the one on the back side, but there's a plus and a minus. And when you activate your cruise control, that is what you use to set the cruise control and then up the speed of the cruise control. So I really like how it's kind of down there, hidden. You would never even know it's there if you weren't going to use it. And then on the other side, we have the lock button, which is kind of like the turn on button for the KTM. For some reason, KTM makes you hit a turn, like a lock button to unlock the bike, I guess. I don't know, it's a little confusing. Then the kill switch, and then of course we have the emergency blinkers up top. Then we have this little customizable toggle. There's you can't make that whatever you want. They have a set menu of things that you're able to make those toggles, but changing them is super easy. I figured it out in the settings of the screen without having to look at anything, so good job on making your screen very user-friendly. And then, of course, I can't really show you guys, we have adjustable levers up front. They have felt great so far. They're a little slippery for my taste, but I do appreciate that they're blacked out. As far as the screen goes, KTM is one of the top tier makers on screens right now. It looks fantastic. The only issue I've had is when we were doing the camera car run of this bike, we got into a position where the sun was directly behind me. And because of the film on the screen, it was a little hard to see, but every other position of the sun, the screen's been fantastic, very easy to see. It was only that one little position that I was having a hard time seeing what was on the screen, and it didn't last very long because obviously you're not going to be riding like that forever. Oh, this is perfect. I can show you guys what I really like about the screen now that I got this red light. Let's get stopped up. A little dive with the brakes. Okay, if I hit this middle button, we will go into the bike info. And do you guys see how it colors parts of the bike? I love that. So front PSI, it makes the front wheel green. Rear PSI, rear wheel green. Water shows the radiator green. Like, how cool is all of that? Oh, you know what? That is how they have such a big fuel tank and this bike feels so light. Look at the green. This is all fuel tank, like on the models of the KTM they've done before. That is how they're doing that. And then if we go into the suspension mode, the bike will do the same thing. You'll see the environment change for the bike, which I think is so cool. So the question is, does it do it in ride mode? No. Okay, whatever. Cool. We're keeping it like it is. As you guys can see, screen fantastic, super high quality. I play a video game on that screen. That's my glowing review of the screen. No. Stop. You have to stop that. It's not legal to wheelie motorcycles, and I will not do it. You know, guys, before we do the purchase or pass, I want to try the cruise control one more time. Oh my God, and now it just literally works. That's so frustrating. All right, whatever. Cruise control at 45. I need to get in front. I need a car. So let's hit the button. As you guys can see, we can increase it by 1 mile per hour. I want to see what happens if, yes, perfect. Okay, this car's pulling out. Let's see if it stops. Oh, this is terrifying. Oh, it does. Oh, that's fantastic. And now it's going to match that car's speed, which they are increasing speed. Radar cruise control, ladies and gentlemen. Very nice. We love that. Okay, cruise control just decides it wants to work sometimes. I guess that was very strange, but maybe I was doing something wrong. We'll write it off. All right, purchase or pass on the Super Adventure. So, for me personally, I love this category of bike. I don't necessarily need one in my life right now, but I do love the category. So yeah, as you guys know, Multistrada is my current dream bike, and I've got this kind of semi-love affair going on with the BMW 1250 GS right now. So I do love a lot of bikes in this category, but because of that, I am going to go pass on the KTM. So one of the things I like about the big bikes is how maneuverable they are. The KTM has that. It's got the radar cruise control like the Multistrada has. It's got a lot of the things that a lot of the bikes have, but the tiny little things that I don't like that's making it a pass for me, the shifter and the lack of a quick shifter, it's kind of like, I wish that was better. I love how big of a gas tank it is. I think KTM did a phenomenal job engineering this kind of go down the side of the bike for the gas tank. I think that's ingenious and really helps with the agility of the bike, but I also don't really like the look of this bike personally, and I don't like the look of the controls. And I know that this shouldn't really matter on a bike that's this expensive, but little stuff like that really matters to me. I think right now, I would say if I was going to get one of these bikes, and you know, we're going to put price aside a little bit, but I would say right now for me, it's a tie between the BMW GS and the Multistrada. And then this thing is probably right behind both of those, in my personal opinion. I have really loved the V-Twin. I think it puts down a phenomenal amount of power that's been incredibly fun to ride. But, I don't know, there's something, the bow is not tied up with me on this bike, and because of that, I'm gonna have to give it a pass. For you guys out there looking into this motorcycle, I would recommend this bike for somebody that obviously wants to do big touring and has a big budget for that. But I think the thing that's going to sway you to this motorcycle is that it feels a lot sportier than something like the BMW GS. So if you're looking for a big touring bike that you can ride very sportily, I think this would be a phenomenal thing for you to check out. Here at the end of the video, I do want to give a big shout out to Mountain Motorsports for supplying us with this motorcycle. Wouldn't have been able to do the first ride without them. So make sure to give them some love. We'll have a link for them in the description down below. And guys, make sure to share this video out with somebody you think would enjoy the KTM 1290 Super Adventure S. And if you enjoy our first ride show, we've got tons of them. We'll have a first ride playlist in the description down below. You guys go out there and ride safe whatever bike you're on. I'm Chaseontwowheels, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later. I can't believe the cruise control just now works. That's so weird.